F1 2017. Is it worth a buy? Is it? Let's read the words of the developer, and then I'll tell you my version. Win the 2017 World Championship, break every record in the fastest ever F1 cars, and race some of the most iconic F1 cars of the last 30 years. With an even deeper 10-year career, more varied gameplay in the new championship mode, and a host of other new features that they just don't want to mention because they're so fucking trivial, both online and offline, Formula 1 2017 is the most complete and thrilling F1 video game ever. So what is Formula 1 2017? Well, it's Formula 1 2016 with bells, I guess. And that poses a problem for this review. How should I go about doing it? And I think the best way to do it is to say, look, is it worth buying if you have Formula 1 2016? Is it worth buying if you have VR? Is it worth buying if you don't have any of the Formula 1 games and you fancy diving into Formula 1? So I'm going to answer all of those questions in this review. First of all, let's look at what's changed. The career mode has changed considerably because there's been a big rule change in Formula 1. Basically, if you're not up to speed with Formula 1, you can get penalised for using new parts. You have to look after your parts and keep the car nice and reliable by looking after bits. In certain races, you might have to slow down a little bit to preserve the wear and tear. Or you can just say, stuff that for a game of dominoes, I'm having a new bit, and suffer a nasty grid penalty. It's all strategy. It's a lot more strategic now, which means it's a lot more authentic. So the people who want authenticity will be very, very happy with the new changes. They're not considerable, but R&D is a lot bigger than it was before. And there's a few other changes. They're not massive, let's be honest. And you know, you won't really notice many of them in the career mode. For me, though, this game is all about the driving. It's all about the racing. I'm not that fussed about how authentic the career mode is. I don't give a toss about sitting at the desk of some tart, because it's always a woman in charge. You've got to have a woman in charge, guys, because it's 2017. I'm in this for the racing. I don't give a fuck about the career, to be honest. I'd be much happier if they cut all of that shite out, give us the R&D, give us the setups, and give us the races, because that's all I'm interested in. I don't care how much money comes into the team or how much they can buy. That's management shit. I'm not in this for the management. I'm in this for the racing, because racing is the excitement, and I want to be able to set my car up considerably, and I want to be able to race. That's it, and have championship seasons and all that. And the good news is you can do all that once you've got through all the other shit. It also has a mode where you can cut out the career and just make your own little season with whatever circuits you want, which is really nice. It still doesn't seem to have the ability to change the gear ratios, and I don't get that. I mean, I can do that on Jeff Crammond's back in the bloody 80s on the Amiga, and I still can't do it in this, so that's annoying. And the UI is fucking dreadful. It's built for a controller, and it's so hard to navigate using a steering wheel, pedals, a mouse and a keyboard, because the mouse cursor just doesn't work. Just doesn't work. On the PC, a PC game, the mouse cursor's like, nah, no mouse cursor. So you can't just click around the UI, which would save a hell of a lot of trouble. It's bullshit. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get on with the actual driving. What's it like? Well, I love it. I absolutely love the driving. The force feedback is better than ever. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm using a T300, by the way, a Thrustmaster Ferrari T300 wheel, and it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. The handling of the car is a bit better because of the rule change. You've got wider tyres, even though your car is a bit heavier, but all the other add-ons to the car just give it that little bit extra grip, so you're going a little bit faster around the bends, and I'm absolutely loving it. I'm absolutely loving the driving of this and the feel of it with a force feedback wheel. It's even better on a controller now than the 2016 variant. As much as I would never use this game with a controller, it does feel a little bit better on a controller than it did in 2016. And I've been running 2016 today and 2017 and jumping back and forth between the two to try and get a feel of how different it is, because I haven't played it for a while, so I couldn't remember. And it is grippier. I mean, I turn off most of the driving aids anyway, so I'm on my own totally. You can easily spin it off, but with the wheel and pedals, you've got so much feedback coming, from the wheels, so you kind of can drive it properly. It's a joy to drive. I can't really nail it any more than that. It's an absolute joy to drive this game, and the racing is brilliant. The AI is still a bit iffy at times, but it is great. It's a fucking great game, guys. Really good.
easily the best Formula 1 game out there. There is nothing can touch this. 2016 can't touch this. I mean, the graphics have improved, the sound is a little bit better, but I still prefer the old sounding cars to the new, and the driving is just brilliant. It's just a shame that it's not the best motor racing game out there, because it should be, but I'm afraid that still goes to Assetto Corsa and Project Cars for one reason, and that is virtual reality. I can't believe this game doesn't have VR, and for that reason I'm not going to be playing it much, because once you've played a racing game in virtual reality, you pretty much can't go back to a flat screen. Flat screen racing is just shit. It's absolutely shit. It just is. You're just looking at this flat screen and thinking, what the f***? And another thing, what the f***ed up in this game is the mirrors. I mean, the mirrors, you can't see through the mirrors. You have to extend the field of view to stretch mode to be able to see even half out of the mirrors, and I've adjusted the horizontal setting as well, and I still can't get it right. You can just kind of see the back spoiler and the back wing rather, and you can't really see the whole mirror. It's why would you not want to race in cockpit? I can't believe people would buy the most authentic Formula 1 racing game and then want to be in a third person fucking mode. Why would you? Why would you? Oh, because it's on console as well. Oh, sorry. Forgot about that. I keep forgetting that it's built for consoles. But the only way to play any racing game is in the cockpit with the wheel in your hand and on a wheel and pedal system. And in VR. That is how you should do it. And I can't believe that they haven't gone down that route with this actual game. But they have added some new stuff. They've added all the old cars from the Nigel Mansell, Ayrton Senna, Prost, Gerhard Berger, and all of them, Riccardo Patrese. You've got all of their cars in, driven by Samuel Walsh and Abu Kanzi Aboleri. You know, these made up fucking people that just totally ruined it for me. And, you know, I couldn't, what the fuck? And then you go to the avatars, which is all made up of every nationality under the sun, every skin tone, women, they've ticked every box, guys. It's just fuck off, man. Formula 1, there's not a single woman races in Formula 1, not one. There isn't. You watch the rest of the Formula 1 season, you watch last season, you'll not see any women flying around the circuit at Monza. You'll just not see any women in Monaco. You'll not see any women at Silverstone, because there's no women good enough to drive a Formula 1 racing car. It's as simple as that. I'm not sexist. I just want it to be as real as ever. When I'm racing in Nigel Mansell's Williams car or his Ferrari, you know, I want to be following Alain Prost or Ayrton Senna or Gerhard Berger, not Muriel. It has multiplayer where you get disqualified at the slightest thing and everybody drives like absolute nutters, so that's out. So you're left with pretty much the championship and the career mode. They're the two things that you'll play the most in this, and they are great fun, guys. Absolute great fun in this game. But like I say, it's a shame it doesn't have VR, but you know, they'll live and learn. They'll have probably lost a shitload of sales because of that. And so that brings to my first score. If you own VR, should you buy this game? No, it's not worth a buy if you have VR, because Project Cars 2 is coming out soon. Project Cars 1 and Assetto Corsa are already out, plus other racing games that have VR. And let's be honest, when you're in virtual reality, sitting in that cockpit, flying down the street at 200 miles an hour, looking over your left-hand side at the car you're overtaking, a bit of poo comes out, let's be honest, guys. It's just unparalleled. It's unparalleled. So what about if you won 2016? Should you buy 2017? Again, I would say no. It doesn't bring enough to where the real meat is. It just doesn't. The main meat in this game is the racing, and it doesn't bring enough to justify a £45 price tag. It just doesn't. I would happily go back and play 2016 instead of this. It doesn't bring enough to the table for £45. It just doesn't at all. So I've got to say, not worth the buy if you've got 2016 as well. But what if you don't have any of the Formula 1 games and you don't have VR? Is it worth a buy then? Absolutely. Absolutely it is. It's a fantastic game. Absolutely love the game. You'll have great fun on this game. It also has the parade laps as well now. Jeff Crammond's Formula 1 Grand Prix had it back in the 80s. So, you know, it's nice that these have come into this game. You can also drive in and out of the pit lane now and use the rev limiter. It has the DRS as well. So it has great stuff going on while you're driving the car. The The pit radio is great as well. It's an amazing experience for flat screen racing. It really is. And if you do have the means to buy this, get yourself a wheel and pedal system for it. Even if you're buying it on the PlayStation 4, you can pick up cheap wheel and pedal systems now. There's loads of them out there, especially on the PC. And it has to be played with a wheel and pedals. Don't do it on a controller. It's just not the same. It's not the same. You're going to pay the money for the game. You might as well splash out. It'll work with other driving games as well, especially if you're on the PC. Another bit of an incentive if you are going to buy it, you can go to Greenman Gaming. They're doing a bit of a special on this. It's £38.24, that's 15% off. But if you enter the voucher code August10, you'll get another 10%. And it's valid until the 27th, I believe, of August. So you can get another 10% off. And if you click the link in the description of this video, there's 2 links for it in case one of them is invisible. There's one that redirects you. Then you can contribute a bit to the channel as well, because I'll get a bit of a commission. So there you go, guys, Formula 1 2017. It's a disappointment that it doesn't have VR. It doesn't bring a hell of a lot of new stuff if you have 2016, but as a Formula 1 game, it is bloody great, excellent fun, sounds great, looks amazing, plays great, very fast frames per second. I'm not having any problems though. I was getting over 100 in the rain on Monaco, you know. It's absolutely great, fabulous game, well worth a buy.